Participants, welcome to School Vedic Mathematics Teachers Orientation classes. In the first orientation chase, we have been through 5 formats. Format 1, 5 cross 5, in fact, is of the format of a counts 1 to 5, 5 times. Firstly, with the points, then with lines, then with surfaces, then with solids, and then with the hypersolids. Therefore, all types of entities, geometric entities, or all those which as elements or otherwise as entities mark their presence become the subject matter of counts, and counting, essential counting, basis counting required for the working of the Vedic mathematics systems is only 5 cross 5. If we know counting 1 to 5, and the same will lead us to forward counting and backward counting. It will also, we know, will give us a counting with a jump. So forward counting with a jump, backward counting with jump. Then also the same will lead us to with equal jumps or with unequal jumps. And with it, we know this format of accounting gives us enrichment of intelligence, and this enrichment of intelligence on first principles as format 1 has been our subject matter of initiation, exposure for the orientation, for imparting knowledge to the young minds. Format 2 has been of vinculum features, which had helped us have reduction of the 9 numerals 1 to 9 into other numerals, such that the bigger 4 numerals could be handled in terms of -4, -3, -2 and -1. It is this with technique, it is this mathematical step, it is this tool, it is this system which helped us have replacement for the bigger numerals for the smaller values. As third format, we had seen that we can reach at a 5 cross 5 grid, and it is this grid, 5 cross grid format, which helped us have association of rows and columns from single digit expressions to double digit expressions for the numerals. As such, has helped us have a column wise and row wise approach for the numbers values, and particularly for writing the tables. Step ahead, we had reached at grid within a grid. So this upper grid with the centers of the grid zones, again providing us a grid, has helped us to see how the grid format will help us to have a superimposition of a grid within a grid. So 5 cross 5 grid permits us to reach at inner 4 cross 4 grid. And a step ahead, we have seen that each surface is a pair of faces. So this grid is having 2 faces, first face and the second face, and it ultimately takes us from 2 space to a 3 space. So it is this transition, it is this achievement, it is this reach in terms of these formats is the attainment, is the reach which deserves to be imbibed well in the young minds. And the young minds, when are sequentially taken through these features, these sequential, gentle, sequential features will ultimately help the young minds, affine minds, to have perfection of their intelligence on the path of reach from affine values to the sequential values. Therefore, it is here where the Vedic mathematics teachers are on solemn duty that they shall teach young minds by imparting intelligence as gentle communication steps so that the affine minds are on the path of sequential progression. Therefore, this perfection of intelligence step of the young minds in the light of these format steps is a solemn duty, and one shall be very gentle, very slow, so that there does not happen any scratch upon the affine mind intelligence fields of the young minds. Today we are at the second orientation chase steps, and the first is that we are now from formats reaching at values and formats. These values and formats in fact would mean that we are shifting from numbers 1 to 9 to 1 space to 9 space. That means we are slowly, sequentially in continuity of our previous chase steps of counts, and from counts now to the specific counts to be associated with the entities, with the geometric entities, and we are now choosing specific entities. And this choice of specific entities as such causes a very big, very, very big responsibility of us. It is upon us a very big responsibility that we shall initially, gently, slowly, step by step, initiate and expose the young minds to have proper association of the counts with the entities. And the entities being chosen here are interval, square, cube and hypercube, and further 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. The conceptually we are trying to put in the minds, we have to have a imprint in the young minds that like points as pebbles, we can also have the lines. So if we are having lines, then we can say that this point shall be associated a value 0 and line shall be associated a number 1. Here one can have a pause also and impress upon the young minds that why we have chosen this symbol. We are choosing this vertical symbol for value 1. Therefore, it will also help us to have a communication, a association with intelligent communication will be between the teacher and the young mind, that we are associating value 1. We are accepting this particular symbol as we are taking it also a interval, a line, a one space body. Therefore, from value 1 to one space to interval to symbol 1, it is going to be a very big step. Once we are successful to create this form bond, this form linking, this form association, this natural association for number value 1 as a count 1. Once a count 1 as number value 1 is given this particular symbol, and this becomes a symbol, and simultaneously it is an expression of a line, and this is given a name interval. So we can say that we are giving a name to this figure, this expression as an interval, and this expression and this symbol is being associated as a value 1, and it is also taken that it is a body of a one space. This step is a very, 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 very big step. So the young mind movement starts associating count 1 as a symbol this, and it also being the symbol of a line. It is given a name interval, and it is associated as it is a of one space. Then at the next step we will have to have a less resistance, that we will say that count 2 we are taking as a square, or we can say that instead of one line we are now having 2 lines. Though with the help of a line, with the help of this very symbol, which is a symbol of an interval, or which is a symbol of a one count, when we will draw 2 lines, we'll say this line and this another line, and we'll say this is first count and the second count. Then we'll say these both together are a count 2. Therefore, like that, when we shall be taking the young mind on the association path, coordination path, linking path, and pairing path. This linking path, association path, pairing path, pairing of the counts with the entities, and entities being chosen here are the geometric entities. They can create format which will ultimately help us build a very, very strong foundation for the mathematics. Therefore, intentionally we are choosing counts, and then we are choosing the geometric bodies, and for geometric bodies as well we are choosing a symbol of a vertical line. This line, vertical line, as such is being associated as a symbol for a count, and this also is taken as an expression of a body which moves towards one direction only, a body which has only length and it has no width. Once like that, we will be associating this symbol, this count, this body, this name, and then ultimately talking it is a space. Here we can slowly, gently impress upon that we are giving a name. We are giving a name to it as an interval. We are giving it a name that it is a one space. It is a space, we can say, which moves in only one direction. Like that, we can sequentially try to impress upon. We have to impress upon gently. We have to impress upon number of times. We have to repeat it. We have to imprint it in a memory. We have to imprint it in the memory without causing any scratch upon the innocence of the intelligence field of the child. It is this duty, it is this responsibility, it is this achievement, it is this breakthrough which ultimately is going to be a very big step forward. It is in terms of this step forward that we will, when we will be successful to say, when we'll say one and we say one space, then there should be an association. When we say one space and a line, there should be an association. When we say one line and we say interval, there should be an association. It is this association, it is this pairing, it is this coordination, it is this correspondence, it is this bringing the different things in the same parallel formatting. It is this parallel formatting which is the first step of our orientation at the second chase. So this chase is the second chase phase in which we are at present, and when we are taking this step 1, the aim of this step 1 is that somehow we shall be in a position to properly impress upon the young minds that 1 and 1 space, 2 and 2 space, 3 and 3 space, 4 and 4 space, 5 and 5 space, 6 and 6 space, 7 and 7 space, 8 and 8 space, and 9 space are accepting pairing. It is this that we say that it becomes a body. Then we can simultaneously put it that these are the bodies. These bodies have their names. To the extent the child is in a position to have smooth, gentle, and very pleasant, blissful acceptance for these names, these should be imported. Otherwise, one can put these names, these technical names, these big names at a hold. We can slowly bring in, and we will be bringing in the form of this vertical line. This vertical line as a symbol of a 1. This vertical line is an expression of a line. It is an expression of an interval. It is an expression of a one space. It is an expression, a entity, a helpful entity which helps us associate count 1 with the one space. And then we can have a pair of lines. And with it, we will have an association for 2 space and count 2 with this pair of lines. And ultimately we say by this pair of lines, we are actually having a surface. Slowly, then we can reach at triple lines. And with the triple lines, we can again slowly take it that we are in a volume. We can take the help of a floor. We can say floor is having length and a breadth. We can improve, we can bring in, we can have these designations, we can have these expressions where we start sequentially folding these technicalities. And then thereafter, we can put them with the model of a room. We can say room is where there is a length also, there is a breadth also, and there is going to be a height as well. This way, up till these first 3 steps, it may not be a difficulty. Thereafter, we can put the minds upon abstractions. And abstraction can be put in the form of the organs of a body. And the first organ of a body which can be availed very smoothly is the fingers. We can say it is the first finger. It is the second finger. These 2 make the 2 fingers. It is the third finger. These 3 together make the 3 fingers. Then we can say it is the 4th finger, and these 4 together make the 4 fingers. With it, we can sequentially reach at a count 1 and a single finger, count 2 and pair of fingers, count 3 and triple fingers, count 4 and quadruple fingers, and count 5 we can have there are 5 fingers. Now, for step ahead, we can have a use of the second hand along with the first hand. So we can help the child to have a concrete impression, foundation, geometrical foundation, concrete foundation for the counts in the mind for the purposes of having association. And we can say one hand, this hand gives us 5 figures, and then we can have one more finger from the another hand, and we can reach at 6. This way, 7, 8, and 9. These 9 values, 1 to 9, as 1 to 9 counts, we can help them to have an association with 9 entities. These 9 entities here are being taken initially as going to be the 9 fingers. Thereafter, we can say as this 1 and a 1 finger is like a 1 line and an interval. We can say 2 fingers as count 2 are equal to a 2 space, 2 lines expression. We can say triple fingers or like triple x's, triple xyz, or this setup of a room where we can say that we are having this association. This way, sequentially, slowly, then we can shift from the fingers to the books, to the chairs, to the tables, and to all other different type of entities with which the child is intimately connected. Once the association of particular entities is already there in the reach of, within the comprehension of, within the sight of the child, then this association of the 1 to 1 space, 2 to 2 space, and 9 to 9 space, it is the ultimate aim. The ultimate aim is that we have to put the fine young minds on the mathematical path by putting them in the mathematical progression, and mathematical associations are absolute abstractions. So absolute concrete situation to absolute abstract situations are to be reached and are to be attained. But for it, we simultaneously have to have a hold, we have to have a pause, we have to have it conscious, we have to be sensitive, we have to be realistic, as that young minds are young minds. They are innocence fulfilled minds. Their innocence is not to be permitted to be scratched. We have to have intelligence growth for the young minds in their fine minds, and we have to put them and make them mathematical minds. We have to put them on sequential progressions, and for it the first use which we are making of is of the counts themselves. Counts themselves are the most abstract things, and these are becoming the most fine tools in our hands. So these very fine tools to very abstract tools to very these concrete situations which help us to have the solids and the pebbles. So pebbles and the solids and the entities as such counts as a fines on the first step, and the abstractions of a one space, two space, three space on the other hand. All these things we are conscious. Teacher has to be conscious. We have to remain conscious. However, simultaneously we have to be conscious as to what our aim is. Our aim as a teacher is that we shall make the young minds of fine state intelligence upon the track of a concrete mathematical formats. For it, the two basic tools, two basic entities, two basic mathematical tools which are to be availed and to be utilized for the ultimate foundation where we have to reach are the number values and the geometric formats. So geometric bodies and the numbers. These two are to be associated, and these are to be associated with the repeated things without the sense of contradictions, without any jumps. A smooth transition like a reach from count 1 to count 2. We have to reach at a single line to pair of lines to one space interval to two space square, and if once we are in a position to have this particular reach, then we can say we are successful. So we can say and we can revise and we can have a proper tabulation as that for it the basic mathematics being used is of a cardinality of a fine sets. So finite sets means we can introduce as particular groups. We can say we are having a particular jar in which there is a single pebble. Then you can say we have another jar which also has a single pebble. We can here say that this single pebble can be coordinated with this, it can be linked with it. Then we can say that we have a jar with a pair of pebbles. We have another jar with a pair of pebbles. So we can help the child to have association of a first pebble with the first pebble, association of a second pebble with the second pebble. And like that, we can say that when we are progressing on first principle of Eka Adhiken Purven, a one more than before rule, mathematics rule of Ganita Sutra 1, one more than before. Therefore, one more than before is the formulation, is the mathematics, is the rule. And we know it can be repeated any number of times. But we know that when we say any number of times, then we, with our limitations, we can say we get exhausted after traveling a few steps. So a finite number of steps, and then we get exhausted and we sit down. So we can introduce the child that we are taking only finite sets. We can say we are taking only a steps up till which we can walk. Therefore, with this way, we have to introduce the concept of a finite set. And finite set, once we are introduced, then we have to introduce, if we are having a two sets like these two bars, did one step here and one step here, two steps here and two steps here, when we are having a pair of sets. So once we are having a concept of pair of sets, pair of bowls, pair of ponds, pair of trunks, pair of school bags. Now once we have these two pair of things, or we are having a pair of heads, then we can say, we can compare what things are there in this hand, a cap. We are having what things in this hand, a pen. So we can associate a cap and a pen. Like that, we shall introduce the concept of a finite set. We shall then introduce the concept of a pair of finite steps, and then we shall introduce the concept of pairing of counts. So first, association of counts with the entities, say number of books in the bag of student A, the number of books in the bag of a student, second student, and then we can say, let us associate counts. We can associate book 1, book 2, copy 1, copy 2. Then we can say, let us have a pairing of counts. Then we will start pairing. It is having a mathematics book, here he is also having mathematics book. Here is having a science book, he is also a science book. He is having, say, history book, but he is not having a history book. So this way, the pairing of counts is the model, is the concept, is the tool which is to be fairly availed for making perfection of the intelligence of the young minds. To mathematize the young minds, we have to take such concrete illustrations so that the concept doesn't remain abstract concept. It becomes a concrete steps. It becomes a concept which can be handled in reality. It should be a concept which remains within sight. It shall be a concept which gives an impression in the mind. So once these steps get printed in the young mind, then this mathematics of cardinality, the counts, the number, say the roll numbers. We have a class, section A of class 5. This is section B of class 5. We associate the roll numbers here. We also associate the roll numbers here. So we have two classes, and then we will feel like pairing. Roll number 1 here and roll number 1 here. Roll number 2 here and roll number 2 here. This way we see that this mathematics of cardinality of finite sets is a very big mathematics. It is a mathematics in fact upon which the whole foundation is ultimately going to be laid down. It is upon this foundation that we have to work out the entire arithmetic operations, and we have to have the arithmetic to be worked out with algebra, algebra to be worked out with geometry. So these all are the big names, big disciplines, but ultimately on first principles, when we go on reducing as to from where we have to start, then we'll see that we have to start with the principle of ekadhiken purven, one step at a time, one step more than the previous step, and with it we have to reach at the counting, and from counting we have to reach at the association of, say, spaces and space bodies. Then we have to reach at the different sets. We have to reach at the counts available, like the roll numbers to be attached in the classes. This is called cardinality. So when we say roll numbers to attach to a class is taken to be a cardinality, it becomes a technical concept, but we can say it is a number or a total roll numbers or a number of houses in a particular street, the cardinality of a street. So this concept of finite set, cardinality and counting and association, pairing, these all are the things which are sounding very complicated. These are the concepts which have very big technical concepts. These are having very big names associated with it. However, in simplicity, these are nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4. So once these are as simple, as natural, as things to be within conceivable things, within reality of 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to 9 are our the best friends. Our first friends, our best friends, our mathematical friends, our mathematical teachers are numbers 1 to 9. Therefore, one shall have good friendship with the best friends 1 to 9. With the help of 1 to 9 friends, we should start working and we start associating and we reach at the cardinalities. Then we have the comparisons, and with these comparisons, when we will be having this, then we can have, say, from 1, 2, and 3, we can associate with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Say we can put here 1, put here 2, put here 3. That means here are the even numbers. Here are the total numbers. So this association, once we will be having a more bliss. It would be very, very blissful that we could associate the counts, the part of the counts with it as well. Further, we can have a set of primes. We can have set of the squares. We can have set up the cubes. We can have set up the nth powers. So we can have set up points, set of lines, set of surfaces, set of solids, and the hypersolids. And like that, we can reach at a large, very large, very, very large number of these finite sets. So these finite sets, finite number of entities, finite number of the things with which we deal with, which are there starting with the number of books, copies and other things in our school bag. These are equal to the number of the dress items we are wearing upon our body. So this is going to be the way with which the parade is conducted. The roll numbers are associated. The periods are numbered. A very big thing, a very, very big thing. In fact, if we are successful to imbibe the full implications of the values to which our good friends 1 to 9 will help us achieve, then really we can feel that we are very proud mathematicians. Very proud mathematicians we are when we are having a blissful friendship with numbers 1 to 9. Then you say these are counts. We can say these gives associations. We say these give us ultimately the cardinalities. It helps us pairing. It gives us a correspondence. And then one doesn't know that if we will start expanding this particular foundation, when we'll start availing this particular foundation, then really, 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 we would be the most intelligent person on earth, and we would be the best of the best mathematicians ever existed on earth. So the best of the best mathematicians you are, and the top intelligence is awaiting for you, provided you are very sincere friends and your friendship with numbers 1 to 9 is of that bliss. Thank you very much.